Hi boys, it's Daddy the YouTuber again. I'm not sure what my YouTube name should be, maybe you can find me one. Anyway, here's the story for today, which is the 30th of July 2017. And the book that we're going to read today is Alfie Gets In First. Don't know what that means yet, but I guess we'll find out. Alfie Gets In First. One day, Alfie and Mum and Annie Rose were coming home from the shops. Alfie ran on ahead because he wanted to get home first. He ran all the way from the corner to the front gate and up the steps to the front door. There he is, running up to the front door. That looks like Sam when he was younger, except Sam had blonde hair. Then he sat down on the top step and waited for the others. Along came Mum, pushing Annie Rose and the shopping. "I raced you," called Alfie. "I'm back first, so no." Annie Rose didn't care. She was tired. She sat back in a pushchair and sucked her thumb. Mum put the brake on the pushchair and left Annie Rose at the bottom of the steps while she lifted the basket of shopping up to the top. Then she found the key and opened the front door. Alfie dashed in ahead of her. "I won! I won!" he shouted. Mum put down the shopping in the hall and went back down the steps to lift Annie Rose out of her pushchair. But what do you think Alfie did then? There's Alfie. Always wants to be first. But he's not helping, is he? He gave the door a great big slam. Bang! Just like that. And then Mum was outside the door, holding Annie Rose, and Alfie was inside with the shopping. But Mum's key was inside as well. "Open the door, Alfie," said Mum. But Alfie didn't know how to open the door from the inside. The catch was too high up, and Mum looked into the letterbox. "Try to reach it and turn it," she said. Alfie tried, but he couldn't quite reach. "Can you put the key through the letterbox?" said Mum. But Alfie couldn't reach the letterbox either. Silly boy. Annie Rose was hungry and tired as well. She began to cry. Girl, crying again. Then Alfie began to cry too. He didn't like being all by himself on the wrong side of the door, and just then Mrs. McNally came hurrying across the street to see what all the noise was about. She and Mum took it in turns to say encouraging things into the letterbox, but Alfie still couldn't open the door. Silly Alfie. "Go and fetch your little chair from the sitting room and then you'll be able to reach the catch," said Mum. But Alfie didn't try to fetch his little chair. He just went on crying, louder and louder, until Annie Rose cried louder and louder too. "There's my Maureen," said Mrs. McNally. "I'm sure she will be able to help." Mrs. McNally's Maureen was a big girl. Right away she came and joined Mum and Annie Rose and Mrs. McNally on the top step. "I might have to break a window," she said, "but I'll try to climb up the drain pipe first, if you like." That sounds risky, doesn't it? Climbing up a drain pipe. But Mrs. McNally didn't like that idea at all. "Oh no, Maureen, you might hurt yourself," she said. Just then, Alfie's very good friend the milkman came up the street in his milk float, and when he saw Mum and Annie Rose and Mrs. McNally and Mrs. McNally's Maureen all standing on the top step, he stopped his float. That's like a little milk cart. That's like a little electric vehicle that they used to deliver milk to people's houses on. But they don't do that anymore. You just go to the supermarket. But when Daddy was a boy, they used to deliver milk in these milk floats at 5 o'clock in the morning and put it on your doorstep. "What's the trouble?" he said. So they told him. "Don't worry, mate," the milkman shouted. "We'll soon have you out of there." Yeah, see, there's not really a good picture of the milk float. Guess it's down on the other side. Can't move my hand down there. "Looks as though the lock's going to be difficult to break," said the milkman, but then Mrs. McNally's Maureen had a very good idea. She ran to ask the window cleaner, who was working up the street, if he would bring his ladder and climb up to the bathroom window. And, of course, when the window cleaner heard about Alfie, he came hurrying along with his ladder as quickly as he could. And then Mum and Annie Rose and Mrs. McNally and Mrs. McNally's Maureen and the milkman all stood on the top step and watched while the window cleaner put his ladder up against the house. He started to climb up to the bathroom window, but when he was halfway up the ladder, what do you think happened? All these people, just because Alfie was a bit silly in that one moment. The front door suddenly opened and there was Alfie. He managed to reach the catch and turn it, just like that. After all, he was very pleased with himself. He opened the front door as wide as it would go and stood back grandly to let everybody in. And then the window cleaner came down from his ladder, and he and the milkman and Mrs. McNally's Maureen and Mrs. McNally and Annie Rose and Mum and Alfie all went into the kitchen and had a cup of tea together. There they are, having a cup of tea, because that's what people in England do, is have a cup of tea. Oh, and that is the end of the story, look. And there, here he is at the end. Anyway, boys, I hope you enjoyed the story. There'll be another one next week. And don't forget, Daddy loves you, and I miss you every day, and I hope that you're well, and I look forward to speaking to you again soon. In the meantime, enjoy a couple of these photographs that I put up here. The first one is probably going to be Sam on his bike at, no, it's not Moa Point. Maybe it's a bit further round at where the seal is. What's it called? The Red Rock. And then the other one is with Sam and Lucas looking out to sea at the Red Rock in Wellington, where we saw the seal. Well, just one. And we walked all the way there and all the way back. And it was really nice. And then Lucas playing rugby as well. And Sam on his bike up near... where was that? Can't remember. That was at Seatoon Heights. Sam on his bike, looking cool as usual. Anyway, boys, hope you enjoy those memories, and I'll see you again soon. Love you. Bye.